It is no secret that here at Mighty Car Mods, we are massive fans of cheap, nuggety Japanese cars that stink of bong smoke, sweat, and soy sauce. And I have found the absolute ultimate. I've always wanted one of these cars, and then this one came up. It was very special. Of course, it was the cheapest of its kind in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Nissan Cube. It is completely fucked. Welcome to another episode of Mighty Car Mods. This video is proudly brought to you by us here at Mighty Car Mods and our mad JDM line of rad apparel like the Mighty Car Mods Tokyo Grey hoodie and one of my favourite t-shirts, chopped in Japanese. Make sure you check it out. Now people, I love cheap cars, I love nuggety cars, I love buying them sight unseen, and that is exactly what happened with this Nissan Cube. But there's two things that make this Nissan Cube something slightly different. Firstly, it's a Nissan Cubic Cube 3. I'll tell you what that means in a minute. And look at this. This is a Nissan Cube Impul. What does that mean? You pull, I pull, we all pull together. Come and have a look at this button. Get around here, damn it. Look at this button. Look at that. It's not that, it's that. What makes this particular JDM Nissan Cube special is that it's had some tasty modifications added to it by a Japanese performance tuning company called Impul. Not only did they do a bunch of body kit stuff to it, but this one has a supercharger. And the supercharger is activated with this button right here. But when you press it, nothing happens. It just makes noises that don't sound very healthy. So we need to get that fixed. But before we dive into that and all of the other filthy things in this car that need to be fixed, let me tell you a little bit more about the Nissan Cube. Okay, I've made some weird music for this section because this is a weird car. The Cube was made by Nissan between 1998 and 2019 and filled a gap between the March and the Sunny. It's got a 1.4 litre engine, front-wheel drive and Xtronic CVT. It features a unique style, and while fairly small on the outside, the interior is massive, which made this car hugely successful in the Japanese domestic market. It's won numerous design awards for its unique look, and it even won an award for the best car for dogging. Sorry, best car for dog owners. That's actually true. So that there is a little bit of information about the Nissan Cube. And you know, the last year they were available for sale, they only sold 254 of them. So we are going to bring this car back. We're going to bring it back to its heyday. But before we do that, there is a whole lot of stuff that we need to fix, such as this, that, this, gross, that, this, that, this, and that. You've heard of ram air intakes? You've heard of cold air intakes? What is going on here? The hottest part of the car, which is the headers, the heat from them has gone through whatever kind of heat wrap was around there, and that heat goes directly here into the intake. What is going on? Absolute madness. And let's not even forget that this part appears to be from a different car, except still has this VIN on it, which means it's been crashed. They've pulled that off, stuck this bit on, and then put that back on there. I don't know who owned this car before, and I don't know in what condition it was kept, but how does a car get this bad? How does it smell so bad? Why is there so much human fluid on all of the seats? What were you doing in there? Was this car a mobile brothel? Was it a meth lab on wheels? We will never know. But what we do know is that this shit has to be fixed before it's released back into the world again. And that is exactly what we're going to do, which is why I need to show you what's in the boot. What makes this particular Cube very special is not just the Impul bits like this massive wing, the body kit, and the supercharger that doesn't work. No, this is a Nissan Cubic, and that means there's something very special in the back, and that is
Oh, go.
my mate Isaac.
How you going?
How you doing, mate?
Sorry, mate. Oh, hang on a second. Good to see you. Mate, I've been busy.
All right.
So busy. Sorry, you got a little bit there.
Okay. I heard you supercharged your Swift.
No, I supercharged my other Zook, the four-wheel drive. So I put a GTI Swift engine in, and that wasn't enough. So then I put a supercharger from a Volkswagen
Yes.
on the Swift engine.
Now, the reason we brought you here is to try and have a look at the supercharger on this car, amongst other things.
This has a supercharger?
It does.
Oh.
It doesn't work at all.
Right.
Oh, and sorry, the whole reason we're in the boot, this is a 7-seater. A 7-seater. Can you believe it?
It's crazy.
The supercharger does absolutely nothing.
Right.
It was installed in Japan as like not a factory option, but like a Japanese tuning company did it.
Yeah, okay.
And we need to pull it off and see what's inside together. Right. And then we need to remove the supercharger.
Right, okay. So we pull it off and then we fix it.
Yes.
Great, fine.
Are you down for that?
Bro, I'm down.
All right, let's go. Get out of there. Can you clean up your own mess, please?
Sorry.
Thank you very much. Can you talk me through what's going on in here, mate?
Oh man, like this thing's crazy. What the hell's that thing? It's like off some Sega Master System.
I was going to say Commodore 64 because it's kind of got that beige thing to it.
It's got that beige thing going on. Look at the headers, like that's crazy. What is it with this thing? What's that? Like, is it even connected to anything? Like,
we don't know.
It's the hottest of hot intakes.
Yeah, we're going to find out.
You know the crazy thing, superchargers, like they just pump heat. People just call them like hot air blowers.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, they're not like what we do with a lot of turbocharged things. They just pump hot air.
You see, I prefer turbochargers hands down every time. What's your opinion on that stuff?
Me too, and I think I've turbocharged just about every project I've had. Yeah. But just recently I did the supercharger thing just because there was a bit of maths and it was a challenge for me and it was a new kind of fabrication element to it that I just kind of really needed to jump on board with. And off-road things, I get it now.
Yeah.
But this sort of thing, I just don't know.
Off-road is in because you get that kind of instant boost.
Response. Yeah,
okay.
And also it just moves the torque curve of the engine right down. These things don't actually compress the air. They only compress the air as a byproduct of resistance in the engine.
Yeah. So
there's actually not a lot of compression happening in the supercharger. Literally, they were designed just to move air.
Yeah.
And usually in industrial or farming equipment, we just, you know, somehow in the 60s we thought it was a good idea to throw these things on a petrol engine and see what they do.
Yes.
And yeah, there is results. The results are there, and I can show you a bit of maths related to it later on. But
I can show you some maths related to this.
Really?
It's a 0. It doesn't work.
Oh.
It doesn't work at all.
Oh, this doesn't work at all?
No, it actually doesn't work at all, which is why we're going to rip it out.
There's like a computer in the engine bay, like with Impol on it. Like what's that? Like some Japanese performance
that
thing?
would be, I guess that's their kind of their performance ECU.
This wouldn't have been cheap.
No, back in the day, someone would have gone to town on it, like an actual, because it would have been big bucks to do that. Then it's come out to Australia, someone's bought it here, a deal or whatever. It's been sold, and then it looked like it spent its life as a kind of a rental car until we picked it up off Marketplace.
Well, it's filthy.
It is filthy.
Yeah.
No surprises, I bought this, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, it's great. This is like the Jimny all over again. Like, look at the motor.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Pour a little bit of oil down the valves overnight.
It's grot. Oh, what does that smell like? I was thinking arseholes. just a whole cap of arseholes.
Mm-hmm. A little bit. Depends what you're into, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Right. Gross, man.
Should we go for a drive?
Oh, I'd love to.
Just before we start pulling it apart?
Yeah.
All right, let's just go for a drive.
Sick.
Get a whiff of that. Just have a little smell of that. I'm
Oh.
sorry it's pretty foul, but we'll go for a drive so we can test it. My seat is disgusting as well. I'm not giving you the gross one.
Okay.
Your one has had a kind of a triangular-shaped explosion, though. Anyway, in your hop.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Unusually, it's kind of...
How's the shape of it?
It's kind of a love heart, but it's just where it's come from is kind of concerning me. I mean, look at this one.
Oh, so you've got a butt one, but then there's nothing in between.
That wasn't me, to be clear. It's really just the spray pattern is wide. It fans outwards.
Yes.
I feel like it would be a straight line to the floor mat.
Yes.
But this is really like there's just a wide spray pattern.
What was going on? Are you ready, Isaac?
Yep.
I'm putting the supercharger button on.
Did you turn it on?
That's foot to the floor.
Really?
And we're going 45 kilometres an hour. Wow. That's not right, is it?
I don't think so. It's making some pretty weird noises. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but what is that?
I don't know, because I'm so unfamiliar with these cars. I'm worried that we might put all this work into it.
You're hitting the wrong button. It's the aircon. Maybe that's the supercharger switch.
Hold on.
Try the other one. They're both compressors, right? It's not doing anything, dude.
Hold on, is there?
What's that noise?
Hold on. Okay.
Okay, show me.
Supercharger on. Foot to the floor.
Oh, wow. Dude, I think your shit's broken.
That is legitimately the slowest forced induction car I've ever been in.
Really? Didn't you turbo a postie bike or something? It was faster.
Come on, man.
110cc, one cylinder was faster than this Impol performance tuned stinky box. It fucking stinks in here, man.
It smells so bad.
Like, I'm feeling sick.
Isaac, why is there a button to turn the supercharger on and off?
Well, there's an electromagnetic clutch in the pulley. I'm assuming here, I don't know if this is all bullshit or what, but there's a clutch.
Feel carefully. Off, on.
It's actually slower with it on.
But why switch it on and off? What's the purpose of that?
To take the load off the engine. Well, maybe it's got baby little conrods, and maybe if you load it up a bit too early with all that hot air, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just gonna do damage. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of those eBay electric turbo kits. They come with a switch and a stupid little blow dryer motor.
Yeah.
And it's probably the same amount of hot air this thing's pumping out.
Yes.
And you just press the button and they make a noise or do a thing, but they claim that they make like all these extra numbers.
I know all about them. You know the video of us myth busting them has had like almost 10 million views or something?
But you did it properly.
They make so much
Leaf
power.
blowers make heaps of power.
This car deserves attention. It deserves love. It deserves something beyond what any previous owner has done to it while it's been in Australia. We think it was owned by a rental company. We think it's actually been rented out, which is probably why all of those stains came out of various backpackers' holes. That's what we think is what happened. Anyway, we're going to fix it. Let's get going. Come with us. This is going to be rad. The first step is to jack up a goat and then wash your car. The thing is that I have no idea what I've actually bought because it's covered in so many layers of filth. So after a good wash, it means I can gauge just how bad it really is. And it is bad, but not nearly as bad as the interior, which smells like a cross between roadkill, octopus, and a public toilet. We're using our scrubber tool to dislodge any stubborn dirt and then moving onto the seats, which I already know are going to be a biohazard of human slime, so they are getting a proper wet vac. This is how much came out of just one seat. Absolutely disgusting. Back on the outside, we're going to do a quick comparison to see if the factory paint will come good with some love and affection, and it's looking promising, but we will have to paint some panels with fresh paint after some much needed repairs. So the car's been given a quick wash and we've gone through the interior. There was so much disgusting human slime that came out of those seats, and mainly in my mind, I just feel better knowing that it's not a biological hazard anymore. On the outside as well, the paint's not perfect, but it does look a whole lot better here where it's had a bit of a buff. So it does mean there's some hope for it when it comes time to sell this car, which will be getting sold very soon. We're going to throw it back into the ocean from whence it came, hopefully a lot better than how we found it, which is what we call a catch and release, because this car does deserve to be saved. But for now, while we've got Isaac here, we are going to throw the car on the hoist. We'll get underneath and remove the supercharger. It smells even worse, I think maybe because we've agitated everything. Can you smell that? Like, even though the dirt is gone, it's like it's been...
You sure you haven't just agitated something in your own
No, it
clothing?
just
That's
feels...
gross, bro.
It smells a bit... a bit...
Mointy.
Yeah.
It's mointy. It's like wet stink.
Yeah, wet stink. Moist, wretched stench.
Mointiness. Ugh.
Next time on Mighty Car Mods, we pull the cube apart, but it proves to be even worse than I could have imagined and suffering from a serious case of automotive neglect. With body repairs underway, the engine throws up a big surprise that threatens to derail the whole project, potentially leaving this cube in the bin.